Okay, this shows you guys how men have zero rights in the court, in their marriages, and also that the police are out to get the average man on the street, and they will ignore evidence just to put you behind bars. Now, before going any further, I'll do something I've never done before and ask you to share the videos. I don't want your money. I just want you, please, to spread the message far and wide as you can. Jail dad giving £50,000 damages after being wrongly accused of kidnapping his daughter. James Cooper twice attempted suicide and lost custody of his daughter after being discriminated against by the police. You see, it's really like these women who are terrible. The fact is, they can't do anything if you live in a just society, and men don't live in a just society. A dad who spent 6 months in jail after being wrongly accused of kidnapping his daughter has been paid 50,000 damages by police. I mean, that's a big sum to me, but still, it's you know what? It's the equivalent of the baron running over a peasant's child and then giving him some money. That's what it is. It's not justice. James Cooper, 36, was arrested and he went to buy nappies for his 2-year-old daughter. He was held on remand and later twice attempted suicide. This is just how the level of betrayal men feel, is that they're just willing to try and kill themselves. The betrayal of the entire society that said you were a first class citizen of the country. He missed out on a job he had been offered. He would later lose custody of his daughter. See, why is he losing custody of his daughter? His wife is a criminal. His wife falsely accused. But this legal system is giving custody to her. But a judge threw out the kidnap case after Laura provided 1,200 text messages proving he had been looking after the girl, not trying to steal her. Well, if he's the girl's father, I mean, the assumption is that he's not trying to do that. 2 officers were later found guilty of misconduct by a police tribunal. The report of hearing, viewed that by the Sunday Mirror, concludes the detective overlooked crucial WhatsApp messages that helped prove James' innocence. Of course, they overlooked it. You know why? They did it on purpose. It's not incompetence. They want this guy jailed. They don't care if he's innocent or guilty. This is the average police officer, the man type of guy who joins the police, is anti-male by nature. They don't like other men, and they use their position to punish them. Speaking for the first time, James said, "I don't ever want any man to suffer as I have done. It is wrong that the police automatically believe my ex over me." He's right. But even though he says, "I don't ever want another man to suffer," is he really going to be doing anything? And he is right. But I mean, these this has been happening long before he got zapped. So this is the trouble with men. As a dad, I feel discriminated against. He shouldn't feel discriminated. He should just say, "I have been discriminated." What the mother says is apparently believed because she's a woman, more than the father because he's a man. That's why. It really has nothing to do with parenthood. The police have put me through hell, of course, because they hate men. The police look for any man to abuse. Cops swooped on the dad from Chatham, Kent, when his ex-partner, Gemma Newton, called the police after a row and she had taken their daughter. After a row and she had taken their daughter? I don't know. James was arrested while on the shopping trip and was initially held on suspicion of making threats to kill and assault after allegations by Gemma. She later provided a witness statement to police, which stated she had full custody at all times and was solely responsible for their daughter, which is probably true. But again, why should she? Why should this guy pay and beg to see his own daughter. But James insisted he was on a prearranged date with their child and asked police to check messages on his phone to confirm it. They took the device, but an internal investigation into the way of the case was handled later revealed they did not look at the messages. Of course. Of course, this isn't incompetence. They they want him in jail. They want to punish this guy for no other reason that he's a guy. These police officers are willing to break the law to lynch a man. I want this to sink in. James, who has spent 4 years fighting for justice, 4 years for something that was so obvious, said all the arrangements about me caring for my daughter were on my phone. I thought as soon as they see all the messages, they would realize how ridiculous it was. See that this I hate this word now. I've grown to hate this word. How ridiculous. How ridiculous. I mean, like, wow, they're taking away our rights again. This is so ridiculous. The situation was. But they just ignored me, of course, because he is not a first class citizen. Men haven't been first class citizens for a long time now. The police are the tack dogs. Now, he was remanded to the HMP Emily on the island of Sheppey, charged with kidnap. James added, being in prison was absolutely terrible, well, no doubt, for men especially. During the time, I thought, this is it. No one believes me. I've lost my job, my daughter. I'm going to spend the rest of my life here. Yeah, because they don't give you any indication that there's going to be any justice for you. He said he had twice tried to take his own life and was left feeling he had nothing to live for. And if this guy had killed himself, what were these people going to do? The kidnap case was thrown out at Maidstone Crown Court after his lawyers provided the 1,200 WhatsApp messages proving he had been looking after his daughter 5 days a week in the run up to his arrest. Wow. So his wife was getting him to look after his daughter. What was she doing? But she has sole custody. James asked the independent police complaints commission to review his case, saying police have breached his human rights, which they did. It upheld a request for two officers, Stuart Catt and his fellow constable named Hearn, to appear in front of the police tribunal. The report said serious allegations was made, which was not investigated in a fair and thorough manner. Well, duh. Forget about thorough. It wasn't investigated at all. His guidelines Had guidelines been followed, then Mr. Cooper would not have spent 6 months on remand for crimes he hadn't committed. I'm going to be interested in to see if the false accuser gets punished in any way. Other documents obtained by the Mirror show that Kent's Police Professional Standards Department ruled the officers failed to investigate James' claims properly by not downloading the messages. Properly, they didn't investigate it at all. This is a witch trial. This is a witch hunt. This is modern day witch hunts for the average guy who is a first class citizen that has committed no crimes other than being born a man. DC Catt was given a final written warning for gross misconduct. Oh wow, he was giving a warning. Hearn was giving a management advice for misconduct. Management advice? Man, oh man. But despite subsequent payout, James does not feel justice has been served. He's right. Shouldn't feel it. He should be saying it hasn't. He has since lost custody of his daughter and missed out on a job. Why has he missed out from custody of his daughter? He should have 100% of it. That woman is a criminal, and he is not. She should be behind bars, not lording this child over him. He said, before this happened, I was about to start a new job as a hire company manager. Then, because I went to prison, I lost custody of my daughter. Superintendent Nick Gossett Kent's Police Professional Standards Department said a civil claim relating to an alleged case of assault and making threats to kill was resolved and agreed by all parties prior to a hearing. Wow. So they found out it was all a bunch of lies, right? 2 officers were subject to a misconduct hearing in relation to the case. One received a final written warning. Wow, a final. So what do you mean by that? He's been doing it before. And the other, a management advice. The hearing was held in public and the outcome published by the Kent Police website. Wow. Wow. This man represents the average, kind hearted, non criminal, hardworking, who adds to his society every day. And the police just decide to scoop him up on a liar's word. And the liar, at least according to the Mirror here, hasn't gotten any kind of punishment. So why wouldn't women just lie? It also goes to show you that, marriage is bullshit and relationships are bullshit. You don't have to be married to have this happen to you. And yet guys still do this shit. There this should be there should be outrage in the streets by the average guy. But you know what they think? The average guy looks at this guy and says, "Wow, that was wrong. I'm glad it wasn't me." That's what they think. And then they go about their day. They hang their heads down, hope lightning doesn't strike them. Men should be ashamed. Anyway, that's all I have to say about this.